Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So in this video, we are going to discuss about what is batch processing and how it is done and how it is different and more advantageous from the traditional method which we used to do. So let's start with what is batch processing. So it is basically we have been given a CSV file or some file with a great chunks of data, a huge chunks of data. So we have to you know perform certain operations on all the records, and then we have to store them into a database, right? So we have a CSV file. Then we have to perform certain operations on them, and then we have a database. And this is CSV. Let's call it job, and let's call it DB. Okay. So what we have to do is so basically, what is batch processing actually? So we uh, so earlier what we used to do is uh, uh, just directly we used to transfer all the data from CSV to database by having some query operations, inserting each record by record, right? So like suppose we had 1000 records here. So uh, we will we would do 1000 queries to write into databases. So that would be very tedious, and 1000 query operations it's a lot. Suppose the data was huge, so what we would have done in that case. So what we do is we uh, do these operations in terms of batches. So suppose we have a batch of 10, right? So we do operations on 10 records, and then we put these 10 records into the database, and similarly we do for all the other 10 data, and then we process them into the database. So we will be having 100 queries, writing queries to the database instead of 1000, right? So this is how we do batch processing, and this is what is the basically the meaning of batch processing. And we uh, you know yeah, that's it. This is what we do. So how do we do it? Like for example, we discussed, right? So will be having a CSV file. Okay. So what we will do is basically we have to transfer this into a database. So we will be doing chunk wise things. Okay. That is called a transaction. So suppose we will be having we will be taking help of transaction manager. So what a transaction manager does is whenever we are writing a query to another to database. So suppose the writing function breaks, right? So what it will do is it will roll back that particular transaction. If by mistake it had been written into the database, it would be rolled back. So in this way, we would be having consistency and everything. So this is what a transaction manager does. Okay, this is so okay. Let's have step by step again. Right. So first we have the chunk of data. Suppose we take 10. Okay, now what we have to do with that is first uh, step function, for example, what? We will start the application with a step function. So step function will contain certain parameters in the input. Those parameters will be like really functions in the input. Okay. So we will have first we will be having a transaction be taking care of the rollback things and all. So transaction manager is there, and then we will be having a reader function which will be passed as a parameter to the step function, right? So okay, so reader function is there, okay, which will be passed as a parameter to the whole operation. Suppose we have a data, suppose we have A and B, and we have to add a column which is A into B, right? So this processor will implement A into B, and after this is done, then we will be having a writer function. Okay, this writer function will actually write everything into the database. So in the reader function, what it does is it takes a chunks, it prepares a batch of 10 from the CSV file. The processor function actually processes everything, which is called a job. So we had a job here, right? So this is processor function. So it will add the column which is A into B. The writer function will add those 10, that batch, which is that transaction into the database. So this will carry on. This whole function will be, this whole function will come the step function. These will be the input parameters into the step function, and yeah, this will be carried on until all the data in the CSV file are processed and written into the database. So uh, I think that's pretty much about this. And yeah, so uh, in Spring Boot we have the Spring Boot has a framework or a library called which will be having those step and builder and everything, right? So it will be pretty much easier in Java. Checked in Node.js. So Node.js does not have these inbuilt functions like job, step, and such that the program understands that yeah, this is a step. So there we have to do manually. So search about that also. So yeah, that's all pretty much. So in the end, what we will see is all the 1000 data will be processed into the DB, right? Uh, yeah, and that the main algorithm, the main heart of this whole thing is step function, which carries on all the process. But the processor function is the main thing which implements the logic on that batch, particular batch. So this is how we perform batch processing, and we have already discussed about how this is advantageous to the previous method. So instead of 1000 query operations, we are just having 100, maybe 100 operations we are doing instead of 1000. So it does make sense, and it does make a life easier here. So this is about batch processing, and yeah, please subscribe to this channel and also like this video if you found this video informative, and I'll surely see you in the next video with a new topic. Okay, bye bye.